Hey, how are you guys? I wanted to talk you through a tipping point lesson that I was really, really excited about for today. I'm sorry that I don't get to do it with you live, but it'll be fun to record and talk about it anyway. So, as you start to transition from, again, we've talked about this, from reading tipping point to thinking about and studying tipping points and what it means to transition from, again, reading about something to then using it as a springboard for research. You really want to start to think about sort of pivotal moments in modern or not history. And I've talked often about the advent of the assembly line and how that changed the automobile industry and how that allowed, like, what were the circumstances and context that allowed for that to happen, right? So, what I want you to think about a little bit, I'm going to walk you through this lesson with Hamilton today. All right. So, let me share my screen with you because I really want you to kind of take this and think through it as you would your own tipping point. All right. So, some background information and general knowledge, just like you would do for your research paper. Things that you need to know about Hamilton. It was first produced in 2015. But honestly, you'll see in a minute that Lin Manuel Miranda had germinated this idea long before that. Lin Manuel Miranda is the creator, but he had musical genius with his producers and people who helped him write the music. It won a total of 11 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. It won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 2016. It won a Grammy for Best Musical Theater Album. It won Golden Globes, which is interesting this year because they released the live version on Disney Plus. And man, oh man, Disney Plus exploded because of Hamilton. And it is the highest grossing Broadway show and album ever. Those are some pretty impressive and unbelievable stats. But how did it get to a place where it was more than just a seed and germinated to this tipping point? All right. So, we're going to talk about a couple of things on the next few slides. And you're going to have to indulge me while you listen to and watch a couple of clips. So, this is Lin Manuel Miranda performing at the White House. And the date when you see it is 2009. So, I want you to just watch and enjoy, but I also want you to think about what's he doing here to help
I'm
create
thrilled
stickiness.
the White House called me tonight because I'm actually working on a hip hop album. It's a concept album about the life of someone I think embodies hip hop, Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton. You laugh, but it's true. He was born a penniless orphan in St. Croix of illegitimate birth. Became George Washington's right-hand man. Became Treasury Secretary. Caught beef with every other founding father. And all on the strength of his writing. I think he embodies the word's ability to make a difference. So I'm going to be doing the first song from that tonight. I'm accompanied by Tony and Grammy-winning music director Alex Lacamoire. Anything you need to know. I'll be playing Vice President Aaron Burr, and snap along if you like. How does a bastard orphan son of a whore and a Scotsman dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot in the Caribbean by providence, impoverished and squalor, grow up to be a hero and a scholar? The $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter. By 14, they placed him in charge of the trade and charter, and every day while slave.
Now, notice you might see the Obama sitting right there. So, this is the Obama administration, and they invited him to this event at the White House. All right.
Were being slaughtered or carted away across the waves. Our Hamilton kept his guard up. Inside, he was longing for something to be a part of. The brother was ready to beg, steal, borrow, or barter. Then a hurricane came, devastation reigned, and our man saw his future dripping down the drain. Put a pencil to his temple, connected it to his brain, and he wrote his first refrain, a testament to his pain. Well, the word got around, they said, this kid is insane, man. Took up a collection just to send him to the mainland. Get your education, don't forget from whence you came, and the world is gonna know your name. What's your name, man? Alexander Hamilton. His name is Alexander Hamilton. And there's a million things he hasn't done. But just you wait, just you wait. When he was 10, his father split, full of it, debt-ridden. 2 years later, see Alex and his mother bedridden, half dead, sitting in their room, sick, the scent thick. And Alex got better, but his mother went quick. Moved in with a cousin, the cousin committed suicide. Left him with nothing but ruined pride, something new inside, a voice saying, Alex, you gotta fend for yourself. He started retreating and reading every treatise on the shelf. There would have been nothing left to do for someone less astute. He would have been dead and destitute without a cent of restitution. Started working, clerking for his late mother's landlord, trading sugar cane and rum and other things he can't afford, scamming for every book he can get his hands on, planning for the future. See him now as he stands on the bow of a ship headed for a new land. In New York, you can't be a new man. The ship is in the harbor now. See if you can spot him. Another immigrant coming up from the bottom. His enemies destroyed his rap. America forgot him. And me, I'm the damn fool that shot him. Alexander Hamilton, we were waiting in the weeds for you. You could never back down. You always had to speak your mind. But Alexander Hamilton, we could never take your deeds from you. In our cowardice and our shame, we will try to destroy your name. But the world will never be the same, Alexander. Yeah, I'm the damn genius that shot him. Thank you.
All right. So really important moment for a variety of reasons. We'll talk about what makes that a tipping point in just a second. So give me a sec as I exit. And then I want you to pay attention to a different moment that is uniquely sticky. But this is a moment that happened this past summer on July 3rd. And we had been in quarantine. We were just coming out from the surface a little bit. It was summer. There was some bubble up of maybe we got to get outside and things like that. And anyway, there was going to be this giant release on Disney Plus. So watch the trailer just for a second of Hamilton, the official trailer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. The $10 founding father without a father got a lot farther by working a lot harder, by being a lot smarter, by being a self-starter, thought of your union revolution, and I hope baby you This is Hamilton.
All right. So you certainly can see what makes that a uniquely different tipping point, right? So what I want to talk to you about a little bit right now, I'm going to go over with you just another one of our slides quickly. So if we go through the next, nope, I love you, Lin-Manuel, but no. If we go through, nope. If we advance to our next slide, here are some of the things that you would think about if you were actually going to write a paper over Hamilton, which you're probably not at this point because I've already given you all the information. The law of the few. So if we're thinking about the three elements of what makes something a tipping point, right? And I'll talk through this with you pretty quickly. And this is, guys, no real outside research. This is just information that I know. So imagine you could pull together information from 6 or 7 sources. How cool that would be, right? So law of the few, historians, Broadway musical fans, critical reviews, the Obamas, the Grammy audience. There was a very specific exclusivity about Hamilton when it first came out. But also he pulled in some really strategic, really important people and got them on board. So when he rapped at that thing at the White House in 2009, he was planting some seeds with the Obamas, right? Um, there were lots of other people that were interested, but again, at first it was sort of very exclusive, but then it caught on like wildfire, right? Like people would pay hundreds of dollars to go. Well, initially people would go see it and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you have to go see this." And then they would pay and they would pay. And then suddenly tickets are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And you have to wait months and months and months on a waiting list to get a ticket. And it became not only this, it became very exclusive, right? What makes it super sticky? That's really easy. It's rap and popular music, which even though he's rapping about a founding father, he still does it with such skill and panache and draws on rap influences from hip hop culture growing up for him. And then it's this really kind of interesting, sensational story that is gripping and interesting. And he makes the other characters, not just Hamilton, but the other characters really round and well developed. And then in this one, the power of context is really significant. So at the time when Hamilton was being staged and written and moved to production, there was this real push for representation and diversity in the arts, most especially on Broadway, and for diverse castings, and truly diverse castings, not a cast of all one color type, et cetera, of any type. And you'll see that now that's become more of the norm on Broadway. But this was definitely shifting representation on Broadway. Lin-Manuel Miranda himself had already had huge success and won a ton of Tonys with this other musical he wrote called In the Heights, that's also set in New York and is super interesting. So Broadway was kind of urging him for another project, and this was in Genesis, right? The political story at the time. So when Hamilton first came out, it was the lead up to the 2016 presidential election. He was writing it during this time of campaigning and tumult a little bit, especially in that particular election cycle in 2016. And then there's continued to be just division and tension between parties. So because it's political in nature, people find it very interesting. Again, the novel use of rap as a musical vehicle, and not only in the genre, but then for people who like rap beyond that, because Lin-Manuel has this knack, right? And then the social context, and also the thing that makes it sticky now, is it takes advantage of the streaming format on Disney Plus to extend its success. So it had been wildly successful, but was starting to tip a little bit where other musicals were kind of, Hamilton was still here, but other musicals were kind of on and up. And Lin-Manuel Miranda and his people are so savvy and brilliant as business partners that they filmed the last few musical stage productions that the original cast did, and then cut it and edited it into this beautiful piece for Disney Plus. So people who can't afford to go to the stage production or who are stuck in quarantine, and to bring it out on 4th of July weekend. I mean, everything about it was just brilliant, sensational marketing, right? Okay, so I know that's a lot. And I would imagine if you just like scripted out everything that I just said, that it would be 6, 7, 8 pages, which is what you're going to write for your research paper. The difference, again, I didn't add in any sources at this point. I certainly could. I have tons of sources I could use. But you see how you're kind of taking a tipping point idea, you're thinking through it, you're thinking about the context, you're thinking about the three factors, all of these different things, and then you're using it to kind of formulate and shape a possible research paper topic. So as you go through the rest of your slides for today, when you do your group discussion with your classmates on Canvas, and then also when you look at and think about your research paper assignment, what are you like interested in that you care that much about? What is something that's tipped for you that you find fascinating? Again, this can be fashion, it can be sports, it can be political, it can be religious, it can be related to 2020, it can be from ancient times. But I want you to be able to kind of, really articulate why it was a tipping point, how, where, when, all of the pieces, and then really the implication also. Hamilton's success has had huge implications on the musical theater sort of industry. and what they do to garner success, the way that they use social media and things like that also. So those are some things you're going to consider as well. Okay. All right, guys, I appreciate it. I know that's a long video. Thanks for being patient with me as I played the clips because they're just so good. And I know you wouldn't have watched them otherwise. If you have questions, you can always email me. I'm not really at my email right now. I'm going to be honest. But my plan is to get to my email a little bit on Wednesday to catch up. And then again on Thursday. If for some reason we're not going to have class on Thursday, I will let you know via a Canvas announcement and email. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.